Life as We Know It with Tom Walton.
When college students return to their campuses around the state of Ohio in a few weeks, they will discover that something has changed. So-called hazing rituals of campus fraternities and sororities, actions which glorify the consumption of alcohol or drugs and can put human lives at risk, will still be stupid behavior. But for the first time, such foolishness will also be a serious crime. It's about time, and it is ridiculous that it took the deaths of 2 college students to get the Ohio General Assembly to make it happen. You know the story by now. An Ohio University student named Collin died at an off-campus fraternity house down in Athens 3 years ago after ingesting a lethal amount of nitrous oxide. Legislation that carried his name was introduced but went nowhere in the General Assembly until, horrifyingly, it happened again, this time even closer to home. A fraternity pledge at Bowling Green State University named Stone Foltz lost his life in March after being forced to binge drink a bottle of booze at a hazing ceremony for new members. Finally, the legislature took action, putting tougher penalties into state law regarding such acts. Hazing now becomes a second-degree misdemeanor, and forcing someone to consume alcohol or drugs to the point they suffer serious physical harm becomes a third-degree felony. Will the new law, called Collin's Law and signed by Governor DeWine on July 6th, have a practical effect? We can only hope. The call that Stone Foltz's mother and father received about their son is every parent's worst nightmare. I sent both of my children off to college many years ago, and their mother and I remember hoping that the character traits we tried to instill in them would guide them in the right direction when confronted by the temptations of their new freedom away from home. We were among the lucky ones who never got such a call. There's no denying the wonderful things that college fraternities and sororities do for their campuses and their communities. The walkathons for the Cancer Society or the Heart Association, town and gown cleanup events in city parks. Such charitable endeavors and the enrichment of college life are what these organizations should be remembered for. But the downside, the reckless behavior encouraged by the unrestricted access to alcohol, compromises it all. Many years ago, I too was part of the Greek system at Bowling Green. I too was subjected to hazing by my fraternity. But not once did such events, and we called them lineups back in the days, not once did they involve the consumption of booze. The worst it ever got was the night my pledge brothers and I were forced to duck walk across Fraternity Row, crawling and quacking to the hoots and great amusement of all the other fraternities. Humiliating for sure, but nobody drank and nobody died. Collin's Law is not aimed at duck-walking pranks. It's aimed at giving prosecutors a new tool against an obvious evil. But it is only a first step. What we really need to see is a culture change on our campuses, a recognition that abusing alcohol can make young adults do crazy things. Fraternities that don't sign on to a zero-tolerance policy should lose their charter and leave. Let's pray that Collin and Stone Foltz did not die in vain.
Life as We Know It is written and hosted by Tom Walton and is a production of WGTE Public Media. Life as We Know It with Tom Walton can be heard on WGTE FM 91 every Monday afternoon during All Things Considered at 5:44 p.m. Or hear past episodes at wgte.org/life.